a lot of beginners actually struggle to actually defend this position as white. Hello, welcome back to the Chess Mindset. In this video, I want to show you a very common Caro-Kann tactic that a lot of beginners actually struggle against. So in order to actually excel at the Caro-Kann, we need to actually understand a few tactics that just go beyond the starting moves, Like if you just memorize opening theory, sure, you will have a pretty decent position, a pretty solid positional game. But if you want to actually exploit your opponent's mistakes, then this video will cover a pretty common tactic that you will find in the Caro-Kann. So of course the Caro-Kann starts off with e4 followed by c6. And in this video, I will be talking about a specific line in the exchange variation, which goes when the opponent takes this pawn in the center and you take back with this pawn. So here, the opponent has a couple of ideas. So they could just develop the knight here, in which case you'll pretty much always want to develop your light square bishop to g4, pinning this knight. And now let's just say they continue like this, right? You develop your other knight, let's just say they go like this. And if they try to kick out your bishop, then you just take, and after takes. And here is where things start to get interesting. Let's just say, right, you want to finish off your pawn pyramid with e6. And here's where things get interesting. Let's just say your opponent castles and you bring your bishop here, they bring their bishop here. And here is where things will actually start to separate beginners from intermediate players. So we notice that whenever they bring their dark square bishop out, they actually stop defending this b2 pawn. And this is a very common theme that you'll see in Caro-Kann games. Whenever they bring their dark square bishop out, they will stop defending this pawn. And what does this mean? It means you can bring your queen out to b6. And because you bring your queen out to b6, this attacks this pawn and also this pawn. So remember that the only thing defending this pawn was their knight from f3, which you just took, right? And also their queen. But because you've developed your c6 knight, you actually have two attackers for this pawn. And they have one defender. So they have one defender for this pawn, which is their queen. So you're actually threatening to take this pawn and this pawn at the same time. And a lot of common mistakes that beginners will make here, as white, is just playing the move b3, in which case you can actually just take this pawn, right? And you can actually take it with the queen, because after you trade queens off, you're going to be up a pawn. And this position is actually a very good position for black, because first of all, you're now threatening to take this pawn, right? And you're actually threatening to trade off bishops, which is good for you because you double up their pawns. And you're just going to castle and bring your rook to the open file, put more pressure. So this is actually a very good position. And it all stems from the fact that they bring out their dark square bishop early, right? Whenever they do this, you can just automatically play queen to b6. And you'll be surprised that a lot of beginners actually struggle to actually defend this position as white, right? Because the thing is, both pawns are actually hanging right now, so it's actually kind of hard to defend. It's actually kind of hard to think of a good defense. And in fact, the top engine move here is actually to play knight to e2. And you might be thinking, oh, what the hell, that just hangs this pawn, right? And actually it does defend this pawn now because you can't take, they have two defenders. So now you can take this pawn, and the best move here is actually just to take this knight. And after takes, it's just to play the move c4. So this is a very crazy line, right? And you can see most beginners, I guarantee, will not be able to find this move, right? They'll play something okay, after this, they'll see, okay, I have to defend this pawn, so I'll just go rook here. And then you can just take this and then trade everything off, and you're just going to be winning. And actually the evaluation bar is it's minus 1.8 for black, so that's pretty good, right? And maybe another idea they have is, okay, maybe just go queen here to defend this, okay, in which case you can just take this anyway. In fact, you can probably just take with the knight and threaten to trade. So yeah, it's a very good position for black here. And yeah, the main thing, the top engine move is obviously here. And after you take, they could go here, but then you can just take this pawn. And yeah, they could take here, but then it doesn't really matter. In these positions, you just drop your queen back, attack the rook, they have to bring it back, and then you can just castle, and your position is very, very solid here. So the main thing against players who bring their dark square bishop out early is to just play this queen b6 move, right? This is a very, very common tactic that you'll find in a lot of Caro-Kann games. And a very important move here is also to play knight c6 first. So all the way back here, right? We want to develop our knight because we want to eventually get our queen to b6 and have two attackers for this pawn, right? And a lot of the games, they will only have one defender for this pawn after you trade everything off, right? After you trade everything off and get to a position like this, and let's just say you finish off this and they bring this out, you go here, they bring the rook out, and I can play queen b6, right, and threaten to take this and that, and basically you're gonna have a pretty good position most of the times. So this is basically the common idea, is you want to keep an eye out for their dark square bishop. If they ever leave this, diagonal where they don't protect this pawn anymore, then you can always just play queen b6, right? And basically you're gonna have a very good position. And actually in the line that I showed before, where it's basically the most common line, which goes like, we talked about like this, and then they have to somehow defend both pawns. The most common response here I see is probably just something like rook here, but then you can just take this, and after you trade everything off, you're threatening this pawn now. So like it's just a very tough position. Like they're probably gonna have to play something like bishop d1, right? And then you can just finish off your development, probably just castle, right? They're gonna play something like, I don't know, like here, and then you can just finish off your development. You can even try to trade this off. Now you're gonna have a very, very solid position. Your knight's on a very good square, right? And basically you're going to start putting your rooks on the open file, advancing your queenside pawns, and you're gonna have a very, very nice position. So hopefully by now you've understood the concept of queen b6 and when you can actually play this. And the idea of this is basically to threaten this pawn and this pawn with your knight and your queen. And you can really only play this when they bring the dark square bishop out. So that's the tactic that I've basically given you, that I've covered in this video. So if you've enjoyed this type of video where I go over common lines in the Caro-Kann, or if you want me to cover any more lines in the Caro-Kann in the future, then please do leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of these types of videos and what you want me to cover next. So if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.